So welcome to today's episode of King Talk, man. This is a special one. We have what I would consider a legend in the making, man. Eastern Hills head basketball coach for the boys. Coach Miller is here with us today. Man, I appreciate you joining us. This is about highlighting what you're doing, what's going on with the kids, what's going on with the program, and some of the other things that you got going on. They're having an amazing season, and you're doing a phenomenal job. How you doing today, Coach?
Man, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Right on. By no means is this a victory lap. I understand that you still got a long road ahead of you. You still got work to do. You know, I know you're true to the grind, so I'm sure you see it kind of that way as well. Where do you see the program in the next 5 years?
I plan to build a reputable program to where somewhere people want to be. You know, I've been working with the young kids in my feeder schools and in the elementaries just to kind of put the program in front of them to have young kids saying, hey, in 2032, whenever it might be, I'm going to be the starting point guard at Eastern Hills.
Right on.
So they can come start being around the team. They start to choose their numbers, start choosing they high school idols.
Yes, sir.
You know, so, you know, the groundwork, I'm putting it in now. So in 5 years, the hope and the plan is to have a good, reputable program in which people want to go to. You know, where they going, where it's the top choice.
Right on.
Not I'm here because it's where I have to be.
Yes,
you know, if I have a choice and where I want to go, I want to choose Eastern Hills. That's the kind of program I want to build.
I love it, man. You definitely have it going in the right direction for that. And again, with you being a Fort Worth product and you growing up here, you seeing them come, you seeing them go, you know, we've seen a lot of greats here on that court. Just overall, man, I think Fort Worth has like a rich basketball tradition. Do you, when you look at all of that, like, do you feel like, do you consider where you're at in that, just stepping back, looking at it all?
Nah, see, it's too soon, man. This is my 4th year as a head coach, and I still got a lot of learning to do.
Right
you know, and like I tell my kids, I know this much about basketball. You know, I still got a lot to learn. I can't even tell you my win-loss record. I can't tell you, you know, any of that because my head is just tucked, and I'm all about the kids. Right. Now, where it's gonna end up, you know, I hope that I leave a legacy, and you know, they put my name in the Raptors, get a court or two named after me. But right now, it's too early to tell. It's too soon to tell.
Got you. So another thing that, and I love that answer too, man, because you know, that's the reality of it, man. You, I would say that you're definitely on an upward trajectory. Matter of fact, I would say that this is the beginning of an era. You know what I mean? But yeah, that means it's the beginning, which means there's a long road ahead. And I also want to kind of point out the fact that you even being in this, and we're speaking with you today, but just really any coach in general, in my opinion, that's true to it, like I feel like you are. Man, I love it, man. I respect it. I don't think there's anything realer that somebody could be doing than out here investing in these kids and doing whatever they can, you know, to contribute to just trying to send them in the right direction. Yeah. You know, we look around and a lot of us have conversations amongst one another about what we're seeing with these kids, the deficiencies they're having. You know, they're lacking in social skills, they're lacking in grit, they're lacking in a lot of different areas, and a lot of people are kind of sitting around talking about it. I love to see somebody do what you're doing and say, you know what, I ain't gonna just talk about it. I'm gonna take action. I'm gonna contribute to it. I'm gonna figure out a way to play a role in making it better. So salute to you for that, and any other coach that's doing it, honestly, man, that's true to it and just really giving it their all and giving it a real effort. We need it, man. When you look around and see what's going on, this is kind of our subject, but I just gotta say this. So when I go to like fast food places a lot of times, right, they the service is normally kind of sketchy or bad. A lot of times they mess up the order. A lot of times they don't look, you know, properly groomed and stuff like that. And these are things that we grew up, man, it's just coming just kind of common sense, common courtesy. And somewhere along the way, it seems like a lot of them are not getting it. Are you seeing any of those type of things when you're dealing with these kids?
Definitely. Being on the east side at Eastern Hills, I see a little bit of everything. But you just can't turn a blind eye to it.
Right.
You know, you can't be afraid to correct it. But before you correct it, you got to have a relationship.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where it comes in to just building those relationships with those kids. So when you tell them something important, they'll listen. But if you're always yelling orders at them, telling them what to do, talking down to them, then they're never going to listen to you. So they can continue on with their bad habits. You know, one thing I always say, you got to meet them what they are. Meet them where they are.
Yes,
when we were kids, our parents would tell us, because I said so. And we did it because two things our parents know we didn't have. We hadn't read about it, and we hadn't experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
Those only two ways then you could get it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, kids got a lot of information. They got the internet. So they come to you with an opinion. So you can't hush them and not listen to their opinion because you lose their respect.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to listen to what they got to say with the opinion they come in with, and then just use facts to dispel it. You know, and then once you kind of get to show them what's right and what's wrong, you get their attention, you build that relationship, then they don't mind listening to you.
Absolutely.
But you got to hear them first.
That's real.
You know, we old school.
Yeah.
We ain't listening to no kid. You can't tell me nothing. You ain't read it, and you ain't been through it. But now they got the internet, so they come with an opinion. So you have to listen to their opinion.
No, that's very, very real, man. And I guess that kind of falls in line with just giving respect in order to receive respect.
Yeah.
You know, it's ironic that you mentioned that because it is a difference from when we were growing up.
It is.
It was just, hey, do what we said because we said it, and that's that.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, like, what would you say is the catalyst or the reason? What's at the core of the fact that you've been able to kind of turn things around and get the program going in a better direction?
My first year was COVID, so I was able to hide, you know, no fans in the stands,
Right.
no attention, you know, and we slid into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me a little experience, kind of let me learn on the job to be a head coach. Then year two, I went young. I went real young. Freshmen took the lead, and I lost. I lost bad, like 5-20 something. Growing pains. It's not normal that people would take that risk. So you know, I took that risk, gave the kids opportunity to learn, get some experience. Then that following year, we flipped our schedule, our record, and went 20-something 5. You know, so as we gained experience and confidence, you know, it helped us to kind of walk the walk we're walking now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we took the lumps. You know, and now we gained the experience. We put in the time. Like, we live in the gym.
That's what it takes.
Around the clock. We're in there trying to find a way to get better. I'm bringing different trainers in. I'm constantly on the internet and college practices trying to learn from college coaches just to feed into the kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just one thing about it is how I got into coaching, I got caught up being a father. You know what I'm saying? Because my son plays ball.
I was definitely going to ask you about
as he started to play, then there I started to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that kind of motivated me.
Right.
You know, so.
I love it, man. I mean, how is that? Being coach and being dad, you know, how do you balance all of that out? Is it easy for you, or is it just?
It goes back to you got to give respect before you get it.
Right.
I can't be old school traditional, you know, because sometimes we're in the trenches. We're in the game. We're in the heat of battle, and he's competing at a high level. And I can't be worried about his language.
Right.
You know, I can't be letting daddy get in the way of him expressing himself.
Right.
So when he was younger, I had to kind of realize we had to have a conversation. You know, away from the court is son, father. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of these lines, you know, it's coach, player. So, you know, I have to. It's a lot that come with that.
Right.
You know, I can't be daddy out there while the game is going on.
Right.
You know, I got to be coach, and sometimes I have to put my pride and my ego to the side and let him take the lead. What you see out there, son, you know what I'm saying? He's had to somewhat buck and like, nah, we doing this. And I could get in my feelings and be like, nah, because I said so type of mentality. But he out there in the midst of it.
Right.
So
right.
I had to back up. All right, whatever you say. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
at this moment.
That's real, man. That's
So,
part of parenting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. That's kind of what I was going. It's just learning how to parent these kids, man.
Yeah.
They different.
Looking back over, you know, man, you go all the way back to the Southside. You know, I remember you then.
Yeah.
My cousin Lil Ride, rest in peace, Lil Ride, Roderick Williams, man, love you. You know, he used to always say, man, my boy Fatty, he used to come home talking about you. And, you know, we would cross paths here and there. And I remember you from then. I remember that you were a standout. I really remember you from football, to be honest. But I remember you from the South Side. I know, what family did you have over there?
Like Allen? My people stayed on Allen Street, you know, East Allen, right in the circle.
Right.
Lamont Stevens, Bebe Stevens, Jer Wayne.
Okay.
You know, them was my people.
Gotcha.
People I come up under, you know, right around the corner from Carroll Peak.
Exactly. So we were on Elmwood, right across from Carroll Peak. So we spent a lot of time on that school campus. Mm-hmm. I was kind of wondering, like, you know, do you feel like any part of that has shaped you into this, or any part of that you remember that plays any role in your journey, or was it too early for that to even
it played a big part, man. The South Side in the 80s was fun.
Right.
We ran up and down the block with no shoes on.
Exactly.
We've turned flips down the back of Hillside.
Right.
I remember having a first basketball experience. We had a basketball rim on a tree, and we played. And wanting to dunk was always a dream of mine. So it was a little notch in the tree. If you hit your foot just right, you can get up the tree and dunk the ball on the bike rim.
Yeah.
So it goes back to them, going to Hillside, the multi-purpose center, the Bethlehem Center, just in and out, just figuring it out on your own. Because we could get out and kind of roam around back then and not have to worry about so much.
Real talk.
So, Pops go to work, he drop us off with Grandmama, and we over there, figuring it out.
Exactly.
Whatever it is we doing that day. Whether we turning flips, whether we racing, whether we playing football at the school.
Yeah.
Just having fun growing up, man. So that started the athleticism in me, because we turned flips off the top of the house
exactly.
on the mattresses, So, that kind of started it for me.
You know what? And I try my best to explain those type of memories to my kids, because life is so much different for them. And I realize how the difference is, it plays a role in what we're looking at as the product of who they are. Like, them not being outside playing every day, they may be a little less athletic. Them not fighting on the playground, they may or may not learn how to fight, or they may or may not learn how to kind of self-govern and deal with certain things. And man, that stuff for me was extremely valuable, because it's things that we were doing, just regular stuff we doing in the neighborhood. And as it turns out, these are the core values of, greatness. Honestly, like having a good, strong work ethic. Like I said, we ripping and running all day long. That's physical activity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're not thinking about it like physical activity. You're just thinking about it like this is what we do.
Yeah,
we riding the bike. We playing football. Exactly.
Yeah.
We hooping. We flipping. We fighting. We playing. The girls around and all that. So we on the playground swinging off the monkey balls and everything. So all of that made it to where, when I really think about it, man, sports was kind of easy. Organized sports, it was just about learning how to play the game. But as far as the physical aspect of it, we were kind of ready for whatever, man. I guess what I call the Great Migration, everybody was moving to Forest Hill. Yeah. And I think y'all were there maybe a few years before we got there. And I'm hearing about Fatty again, At that point, again, I'm hearing about you playing football. You like a little urban legend. They were comparing you to Randall Cunningham at that time.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Randall Cunningham is one of the first running black quarterbacks that we've seen. Very electrifying player, great quarterback, wasn't scared to run it, wasn't scared to dive and run and whatever it took. He was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. And so they were comparing you to him back then. I always wanted to ask you, like, because football is king in Texas,
Yeah,
man. This is Texas.
Yes.
So what made you, when it came to after Pee Wee, what made you say, I'm going straight hoops?
Well, I played football through 8th grade,
Okay.
but that was before it was cool to be a small quarterback. All I would hear is, "You too small, you too small." And anytime somebody came in the rim who was a little bit taller than me, they would always get bumped ahead of me. And now here I am fighting for it again.
Gotcha.
You know, went through that in Pee Wee, went through that in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that the guys who played in front of me didn't earn it, didn't deserve the spot. But it's always, I had to take the back seat because they were always taller than me.
Gotcha.
So that was before that Michael Vick era. So it wasn't really, I didn't have too much confidence going past that.
Gotcha.
That I had a future in football. Football's still my favorite sport.
Right on.
I'd rather watch it than watch basketball.
Yeah, it's more entertaining.
You know what I'm saying? So that was just kind of with that. As high school hit, girls came into play.
Mm-hmm.
Things, start liking different things.
Yes, sir.
So I chose basketball. And then that cold weather, that cold weather was something else, man. I remember them Pee Wee days out there with 4-5 layers on, man. And, even in middle school, and once basketball started to work out a little bit, like, man, this is what I'm gonna do.
Man, that's perfect, man. This all make perfect sense. So from there, I guess you go into basketball with probably somewhat of a chip on your shoulder, I imagine.
Definitely, man.
I know you had them springs, man. You were jumping out the gym, and you worked for that.
Yeah.
I always like to highlight the work side of things, man, because I feel like a lot of people look at TV, looking at all the different news outlets and everything, and you watching games, and you think things are easy.
Yeah.
And it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into something like what you guys have going on right now. I'm sure y'all spent all summer in the gym, not just hooping, probably some weights too, all that type of stuff. I think that there's like a disconnect with some of us about what it really takes to be competitive even on these different levels. So I salute you for that as well. And this brings me to, I guess, your senior year at Everman, 97, 98 season.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are ranked number one, not in the district, not in the area, not in the state. Y'all are the number one team in the nation.
No. Number 24 in the nation.
Okay.
But we was the first 4A team to be ranked in the nation.
Got you. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, we was number one in the state, number one in the area, and number one in the Southwest region of the country.
Gotcha.
And then number 24 in the country.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Still an amazing, what I would call an amazing accomplishment. And I remember that year getting into the games. Every single game was wall to wall. If you didn't get your tickets early, you would not get in there. If you were there, you know exactly what I mean. It was a great time for basketball. It was a great time for you guys. What do you take from that experience? And is there anything about that you use today in what you're doing with these kids right now?
Oh yeah.
Because I know that you were a leader on that team.
Yeah, it was a great time, man. Great group of brothers that we grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Experienced some great things together. So I take that, and kind of let it lend itself to what I'm teaching these kids today, because they got a team kind of like what we had.
Right.
Been together for a while, tight bond. So I'm able to give them firsthand experiences about what they feeling, what they going through, what they gonna see down the road, what the people saying,
right,
what's expected. You know what I'm saying? So it gave me a great insight on helping these guys kind of accomplish their goal.
Right.
Man,
I don't think that you have to play the game to be a good coach. But I think, honestly, man, those are the best coaches, the ones that actually play the game and know, all of the ins and outs, that really actually experienced it. Again, not to take anything away from coaches that didn't play, but I have a special place in my heart for guys who actually experienced the game, and had some success and things like that to lean on. I wanted to point this out. Since we're on the whole Everman thing, you were also, if I remember correct, you were like a straight A student type guy.
Yeah, definitely. We had to handle our business in the classroom.
Right,
I think
right.
I was, top quarter of the class, National Honor Society. I don't really ever remember failing a class or making below a B.
Right,
right. High B. It was just, school always was easy.
Right.
I wanted to be in school. I wasn't one who didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I may not like right now, I've been in education or been in school my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't as a student, it's been as a teacher,
right.
For the most part. So, I've always enjoyed school.
That's cool. That's cool. You didn't really move or carry yourself like the typical, when I say straight A student, and this is something that I want to, in much ways as I possibly can, I want to contribute to changing that narrative anyway. Being smart and making good grades, man, that's what you're supposed to do. That's a great thing. I feel like we're at a point right now in society where they try to make it like you Steve Urkel or something, if you take care of your business in the classroom, and that's just not true. You did it, man. You did it in a very cool way. I wasn't quite as much into school. I was smart, but I just wasn't into school, so I was one of those kids, man. I wouldn't say that I was like bottom of the barrel, but I did what I needed to pass and stay eligible and stuff like that, and I kept it pushing. So I always had a respect for the guys.
I ain't gonna say that, like my senior year, I think I had 3 or 4 teacher's assistant classes.
Mm.
Like I wasn't going beyond the Call of Duty. I didn't want to take calculus. I wasn't taking nothing too much. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in what I needed, the basics. You know what I'm saying? And went a little bit ahead over if I had to, but I just mastered what I needed to.
Exactly.
I wasn't doing I'm not finna cap like, I was, 4.9 or anything like that. But what I did, I did well at.
Yeah, man, and I, like I said, that's a good thing, man, because again, a lot of times you don't see that.
Yeah.
You everybody want to be cool and focus on everything but school. If you're really a smart kid, and school probably should be easy, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, these days, I don't know, a lot of things changing. I know, especially with the standardized tests, and I don't know what they're doing curriculum-wise now compared to when we were in school, but from a lot of things that I see and hear, it's a little different now, so I don't want to put that on them.
Yeah.
But for us, man, it was kind of like, if you're smart, you're going to be all right, you're going to take care of your business. So y'all have that amazing run. You go off to college. You go down the hill. Man, I think I even came down there and watched you a couple times. What would you say about that experience?
It was good for me. I didn't need too much freedom. Like you said, I wasn't your normal, kid. I kind of pushed my boundaries a little bit. I had fun. I lived.
Mm-hmm.
So going to Hill gave me just enough room to kind of spread my wings, figure some things out. But if I was close enough to home that if I needed to get back to home base, then I could.
Right.
So it gave me just enough rope.
Gotcha.
But those young days, I was still figuring it out, man.
Of course.
Far from the man I am today.
Absolutely.
Just down there having fun. Trying to figure out, taking advantage of the newfound freedom, having no parents looking over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a few of us down there. I think when I was at Hill, it may have been about maybe 10 to 12 kids from Fort Worth.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we had our own little community down there.
Yeah.
So, that was good too. So we was able to kind of grow up together.
Yes, sir. Love it, man. College is definitely a place where you learn a few things about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really where, a lot of people, it's like the fork in the road. You're going one way or the other. You go from Hill, and I know you finished at UTA. Is that right?
Yeah.
What was your major there?
Communications, advertising.
Okay, same thing here. Not advertising, but communication. So you finish at UTA. How do you get from UTA to teaching at elementary school and mentoring the kids? What's that
Man, it was just order steps by God. Was really kind of in a rut, you know, didn't really too much have it together.
Real quick, what school was that?
Meadowbrook.
Okay, you were at
Meadowbrook Middle. Really trying to figure it out. You know, still in college, finishing up college, and my aunt come to me and was like, hey, you want to tutor? I'm like, yeah, why not? I ain't really doing nothing else. I'm at the house all day, wasting time. So I started tutoring. One thing led to another. I think it was a situation to where a kid got into a fight with a teacher, right? They needed somebody to cover a class. Hey, man, we want you to be a long-term sub. I'm like, all right, cool. They pay $100 a day, $100-something a day. You know, for me, that was cool. All right, bet. I can do that. Then they throw me a manual, right? So I'm kind of looking through this manual, and what I noticed is that it was scripted. You say this, they say this. They don't say this, you say this. And it kind of gave me kind of format to kind of teach. I'm like, oh, teaching ain't that hard. So I began to present information to them, right? And I noticed people kept looking in the door. So I'm thinking like, man, I hope bad luck ain't follow me to work. Just gonna leave it at that. So people keep looking at my door. I'm not knowing who it is. So I'm like, I'm gonna head it up before it come to me. I go to the principal's office. Ma'am, y'all keep looking at my door. What's going on? Am I doing something wrong? I was like, no. How you getting them kids to sit down and listen to you? What are you saying? I say, I'm just talking to them. I'm reading the stuff in this book, just, you know, trying to present information to them. Have you ever thought about being a teacher? I was like, nah, not really. You should really think about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we formulated a plan. You do this, this, and this. This could work out for you. So I go through those steps, and needless to say, it hit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody saw something in me. Miss Cherie Washington saw something in me and took a chance on me. You know what I'm saying? I had no education background. Never thought in my life I'd ever be teaching. And she presented it to me. It felt like it was something I could do, and it was my way out. You know what I'm saying? I saw it as a transition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, from me becoming a boy to a man, having a career. You know, God giving me some grace, because I had been through some things, had a few charges that was kind of on my back. You know, some non-convictions, which allowed me to kind of go through with my life.
Yes, sir.
But it taught me some valuable lessons. So when I had the opportunity to kind of become a professional, you know what I'm saying, I jumped at it.
Right on.
Went into it head on, and it just kind of worked out. You know, God had a plan for me to remove me from certain situations and show me a way to go be a productive citizen in society.
Absolutely.
Make a
Love
honest
it,
buck.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Love it. I feel like that should be the goal for more of us, man. Like, again, you know, we sit back and we watch certain things go on, and I don't know if people think like that, you know, or I don't know if enough people think like that, you know, just wanting to be a productive citizen, wanting to be on the straight and narrow, wanting to kind of make a legit way for yourself and everybody that you love and everybody that's depending on you, man, that's huge. A lot of the things that we're out here saluting these days ain't salute worthy. To me, that is. Especially growing up and coming up in a city like Fort Worth. There's like what I would say is a thug culture, a thuggish culture here in Fort Worth that keeps us from excelling, you know, to the level that a lot of us could. You know, a lot of people say that Fort Worth is cursed. I don't know. Have you ever heard people say that?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've lived it.
Right.
I didn't went away and came back. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That's the demo on us. You know, they got good talent. You know, but they gonna leave and they coming back.
Right.
You know, the curse.
So, you know, I used to always say, nah, man, ain't no curse, you know, this and that, whatever. It's two things that I noticed just on my journey and just paying attention. The first thing is that, you know, when I travel, one of the places I went to that changed my whole outlook on life was Atlanta. I went to Atlanta early 2000s. I was in college at the time. I didn't know that there were like positive, productive black people like that. It was a whole different energy. You know, Fort Worth is like I say, man, it's just got a real thuggish culture, and I just had never seen anything like that. So anyway, get to Atlanta. I noticed these they hood, they real, you know, they ain't really playing no games, but they just positive. And they got all these cool little hustles and different stuff, different businesses going on, and they support one another, right? I could tell, like, they didn't see it as a negative thing, or they didn't see it as you know, riding D or nothing like that, to support one another.
Yeah.
And I was still pretty young, but I was able to look at that and just say, like, man, that's why they successful. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why they successful. And Fort Worth is a whole nother energy than that. I went to Houston, you know, been to Houston a million times. You know, again, it's not that they fake. It's not that they playing no games. It just seems like they have a different level of understanding. You bump into a guy in Houston in the club, he's going to say, excuse me.
Yeah.
You bump into a guy in Fort Worth, somebody probably end up dying that night.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I love what you're trying to do right here, man, with the whiteout, and we're gonna go into that a little bit more in detail here in a second. But on that curse thing, I will also say this: I never thought it was real, man. What made me kind of start thinking maybe Fort Worth really is cursed was what happened to D. Will, the way that went down. Rest in peace to D. Will. Here we are. We finally got a brother that is a real Fort Worth product. He went off to college, did it, took care of his business, got into the NFL, took care of his business. He was relevant. He was being productive. He was doing his thing. We finally got us one. And then that night, that New Year's, and not that we wanted anybody to get hurt at all, but the irony of, out of everybody in that vehicle, D. Will, our one shining star that we finally got, ends up being the one to catch that bullet. That is very, you know, that kind of made me think like maybe we are cursed. But I want to say today, we're not cursed. You know, that was very unfortunate and a strange happening. But we just need more people like you. It's not that we're cursed. We need more people like you. I guess this is a good time for me to give you an opportunity to kind of speak on the whole whiteout against violence and what your vision is for that, and how you intend on kind of incorporating it into what's going on right now.
Okay. With all the, I guess, attention we getting through basketball, I feel it's important for me to take that platform and just highlight something, highlight something in a positive light. Mm-hmm. Like a few days before New Year's, one of my ex-players loses his life to gun violence, you know. So that kind of prompted me to use my platform to kind of create some type of voice for that. If it's only for the 2 or 3 weeks lead up into the game, and then through the whiteout, it's just bringing some awareness to it. Okay. And what I want to do is, I saw a lot of rivalry talk. And I'm cool with rivalry. First, I'll say that, you know, I salute Dunbar. Yeah, shout out to Dunbar. I salute everything they've done. They're historically the school of the city, mm-hmm. you know. So I have nothing but respect for them. But I don't want to have it a negative vibe to it. You know, gotcha. Exit 29 versus whatever exit they are. The Battle of 820. I saw a lot of that going on. Right. So I decided to maybe kind of step in and kind of control the narrative. Yes, sir. So I spoke with you, we want to do a unity against violence. You know, where we're going to do a whiteout and just kind of bring some awareness to it. Both schools standing united, showing some support against violence. Right on. Love it. You know, bringing in a few people to kind of highlight that. You know, yourself is one who's going to kind of take a part in that. Got a few more people that I got planned to kind of help out with that, but it's just using my platform for something other than basketball. You know, yes, sir. Basketball is a vehicle, but you know, there's a different message that I think I'm supposed to be screaming at this point. Right, so. Right. Love it, man. I definitely, man, when I caught wind of what you had going with that, I felt honored and obligated to play a role in that because, again, everybody want to sit around and talk, you know. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion about
what's going on with these kids, and I got the utmost respect for anybody who's actually trying to put the rubber to the road and do something about it. And so I'm definitely down with you, man, all the way, like 4 flats, whatever I can do, any way that I can help, I'm going to do it. You already know I'm just a phone call away. This game, Eastern Hills versus Dunbar. Mm-hmm. This is Saturday, January 27th. That's Saturday, January 27th, Eastern Hills versus Dunbar at Wilkerson Grimes. We need everybody to support this. You know, we need everybody to jump behind this. This is a great time for Fort Worth. This is a great time for Fort Worth basketball. This is a great time. We're watching 2 Fort Worth products, Coach Miller and Coach Lacey. Man, y'all are both Fort Worth guys. Both got Southside ties. Both, you know, rose through the ranks and did your thing in high school. So with all of that being the case, I think the city should continue to support. We know y'all are already getting support. Man, we just want to amplify it and make more people aware of what's going on. And again, I love putting energy behind the good things, the right things. And to me, this is one of those things. So again, that's Saturday, January 27th. That's just in a couple of weeks. They will be playing at, what's that, 1:30? 1:30 p.m. at Wilkerson Grimes. Man, y'all know how that Wilkerson Grimes used to go down, man. Make it go down even harder than that, man. We want to support this. We want to keep this going. We want these brothers to know that we appreciate what they're doing. We want them to feel the love, Fort Worth. Let's make them feel the love. Is there anything in particular that you want to say about your players and the work that they're putting in and the production that they're putting out? You know, we kind of already touched on your son being on the team, which I love that as well. Is there anything you want to say about your players and highlight them?
Man, it's a great group of kids, man. They deserve all the support. Model students, make good grades. Everything you want to support.
Yes, sir.
You know, we got some standout kids. Alex Barth is a kid that everybody should want to see. Very talented kid. Number 1 kid in the sophomore class, was at 2026. Number 1 kid in Texas. Very, very high ceiling. It's been an honor to kind of watch him mature this year.
Absolutely.
And I was talking to him the other day, and I was like, hey, man, people in the beginning of the year, people was coming to see you, and they hit me after the game like, hey, man, what's up with your boy? You know what I'm saying? And I would listen. He's young. Give him some time. But what I will say, these last maybe 5 or 6 games, the kid has been really, really coming on strong. He has the will to just want to win. You know, I marvel at just watching him compete at a high level. You know, he makes some shots sometimes. I'm like, wow, how that kid make that shot?
Love it.
So, you know, he's a kid that definitely deserves to be supported.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
needs all that support. You know, put arms around him, making sure that he's taken care of, he's supported, he feels wanted.
Yes,
you know, because if we don't make him feel wanted, somebody else will, and we'll lose him. You know, to a Duncanville or to some other school who will make him feel more welcome if Fort Worth don't appreciate him.
Right.
Great kid though.
Right on.
You know.
I love it, man. And again, if we're gonna support anything out here right now, if we're gonna support anything, it should be things like that. On the way out, now you did also say that you wanted everybody to wear white that day, right?
Yes, it's a white out.
Anything in particular white or just white?
Nah, just white. I can't tell you what white to wear.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm bad enough I'm asking people to wear white in the winter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we got fashion conscious people who don't wear white certain parts of the year. So just something with white in it. You know, just to support the cause.
Yes, sir.
You know, white's a neutral color.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I chose white.
Right on. So again, man, the initiative is we're whiting out violence. This is unity versus violence. And of course, we want to show unity. We want to come together. We want to support these programs. We want to wear that white. We all, you know, when things happen and these kids get out here and hurt themselves and hurt each other and killing each other and whatever's going on, everybody's up in arms. You know, everybody's in tears and all these things. And I feel like we should put more energy behind things like this just to support the fact that that's not what we want. we want the kids to know and the rest of the community to know that we don't want any more senseless gun violence. We don't want any more senseless violence at all. You know, we want to come together, again, support situations like what they have going on at Eastern Hills, at Dunbar, and all the rest of the schools for that matter. We want to put our energy behind that, and we want the kids to know we riding together, we riding for them. On the way out, man, it's the last one. I'll ask you this one little deal, and we'll shut it down. Is there anything interesting about you that people may not know?
I'm an early person. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who know me know that, but those who don't know me, I'm up 5 o'clock every morning, no alarm clock.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? Just trying to find out what can I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, busybody. You know, as my grandma would say, I'm up piddling. You know, messing with this, messing with that. But you know, that gives me that alone time to get my thoughts together to prepare for the day.
Absolutely.
So that's that's just something that people might find interesting. You know, I love the morning time. The morning's the best part of the day.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
I can relate 100%, brother.
Yeah.
On that, man, we're going to go ahead and bring it to a halt.
Okay.
And I greatly appreciate you coming out, taking time to sit down with me today. I wish you the best as a coach. I wish you the best as a dad. I wish you the best as a man. I want you to keep doing exactly what you're doing, man. We're all proud of you. And again, man, much success for you and the Eastern Hills Highlanders. And you have our full support, man. We appreciate you, brother.
All right, man, I appreciate you.